This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Masters of the Universe, the Powers of Grayskull, Sharella figure, the Heroic Tribal Chieftess. She comes in the Powers of Grayskull boxing for the Club Grayskull. And on the side, we get a good close-up of her head and her boobs. I appreciate whoever the artist was on this one. On the side, we get to see her with an arrow cocked and at the ready with her hair blowing. It's actually a pretty nice piece of artwork. And when we flip around to the back, we see her fighting against the Black Wizard, and I don't remember the other guy's name. Sorry. So let's go ahead and open this sucker up, which should be easy because it is just a slipcase. The little box is empty. So we have our figure here. Her quiver is on a belt, which honestly is probably the more common practice based on the archery videos that I have watched over the years. We have a little hole there to put her arrow in if we want, which it's a little bit sad that they actually strung the bow, or you know what? They should have given us a second bow with spots that we could put our own string in there. Or a second bow that's already pre-cocked back with an arrow in it. Actually, that probably would have been the best way for them to do this. Would have been a second bow pre-cocked with the arrow in place. It's for posing. I mean, when you get right down to it, this figure was probably cheaper to produce than our previous one of Hero. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the mini comic that came with it. It is called She Warrior. God damn it. I swear to God, if this is nothing but a girl power story, I'm going to be very upset. Because those have very little character development. But, you know, we do see the Black Wizard, and we see Hero in the back. And the Turbodactyl. A few of them, actually. High above in the blue heavens of Preternia, the primordial forest below seems serene, though just under the surface lies untold savagery. Through volcanic mists soar two champions astride aerial steeds, Sharella and Hero. I must admit, you've grown into quite the warrior. I'm proud of you, Hero. I've had many great teachers. I count you as one of them. We aren't so far apart in years. Think of me not as your teacher, just your superior. Ugh. Done. Why have you brought me here? It's time I told you a story, one that has haunted and entwined our destinies, as well as the clans. Let me start at the beginning. So remember, supposedly, in the lore that's been created over the years, thanks largely in part to Scott Knightlick, she ends up becoming the goddess at some point. So I think this whole thing with her being the tribal chieftess, I think probably would have been better just to have her be a warrior in general. In the lands of Preternia, and by the way, why are they calling it Preternia? There is one supreme law above all others: survival. For generations, barbarian clans have warred across the continents, striving to vanquish each other. One such tribe was our own, Clan Ethos. Survival is pointless without principles. What we fight for goes beyond ourselves. We are in this together. The clan prospered through conducting trades honorably. We became successful using territory we once dismissed as worthless. We cultivated into a verdant paradise. Led by my father Ober, a strong and powerful warrior, he centered our faction around an attribute never before embraced: morality. Ober knew tragedy all too well. His wife, my mother, passed away when I was born. I'm old enough now to appreciate that he never held that against me. My father taught me how to be strong, yet wise, clever, yet diplomatic. Above all, he instilled optimism, humor, and the value of life itself. I wonder if we'll actually see any of this humor in here. But lo, though success is hard won, jealousy cares not of merit. Envious eyes were drawn to our village with an army who wished to destroy us, that of the great Black Wizard. The evil technomancer felt that morality had no place among the barbarian tribes. Philosophy belonged only to the realm of wizardry. If ethics took hold on Praetornia, it would threaten his designs. Okay, not really, because if everybody is ethical and you're not, you have an advantage. I'm sorry to say that, but... So he destroyed all that we built. Father! If ever lost in life, let virtue act as your compass. I love you. The Dark Lord escaped after murdering my father. I rescued you that night, but never told you that truth. I led you to believe that you were adopted from another tribe, but you were always one of our own. Your parents were slain by the evil mage. The is the point of that? You were just a boy, now you're a warrior, ready to know the truth of the world and yourself. Why didn't you tell me before? Tell me, Sharella, have you ever thought that the Great Black Wizard might have been right in his deeds? Perhaps his vision is beyond your mortal comprehension. What's so mad about chaos and evil? It's the delusion of good and order that's deranged. Hero, are you insane? You speak madness. Evil sheds its disguise, revealing itself. Ha ha ha! All your deepest, darkest secrets mine for the taking. Now, girl, you shall come with me and act as a lure for Hero. If you obey me, I will contemplate sparing your life. Never! Return, warrioress. Let me finish you off like I did your father. Avoiding capture, Sharella took to the skies as the necromancer followed in hot pursuit. Guys, he was called a technomancer earlier. Finger raised forth, the dark mage casts a powerful bolt of searing energy, which Sharella nearly avoids. It'll take more than that. Eat our tailpipes, dear God. Targeted jerkface. Gah! Enjoy the water, it's refreshing. Vengeance will be mine. The masters of Praetornia shall be destroyed. Victorious, Sharella rode forth into the brilliant twilight. Her new quest, to find heroes so they may unite to vanquish great evil once and for all. First off, they called him a technomancer earlier, and then later on called him a necromancer. She says that her and Hero are not that far apart in years, and then, we see her carrying him as a baby, looking the same as she does now. So it looks like she's probably at least 16, closer to 20 years of age there. That's pretty far in age when you get right down to it. She should, have gray hair and stuff at this point with him. This is one of the problems when they try to do some of these stories, is they're not really thinking ahead to what they're doing. Because she can't be this age here and still claim to be not that far apart in age. I don't know. The comic, not particularly well thought out. The figure itself looks good, though. Let's take a look at the head sculpt here. Brilliant green eyes. Quite a bit of eyeliner going on there. But everything seems to be pretty well in place as far as I can tell right now. I know sometimes I notice differences when I take the photos for later. It does appear like she does have earrings. Or that's the, either she's got small loop earrings, or that is the fleshing from when they take it out of the mold and that wasn't removed. There is some gunk in her hair too. That's not good. I'll have to try to, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that's got something to do with the mold, the paint, or if I just need to clean that out with some hot water and some brushing. She comes with bare forearms, and she has Tila's upper arms. New diaper piece for her, which brings us one step closer to getting the Battleground Tila that I would like. She's got, the standard female boots here for Origins. Oh, wow. Hold on. Pop her head off here. Even more of that gunk. Oh, shoot. That's the glue, I bet. Look at that. It's all over the place. Okay, so I might have to attempt to scrape that out. At least the stuff in the back probably won't be too bad, but the one on the side's kind of annoying. While we're taking her apart, there is something I want to check. And this is probably what a lot of people will be doing. But I want to see if they painted her boobies like they did in the Origin stuff. And they did. They gave her a teeny tiny strapless bra. So now she really looks like a barbarian. Also, now that I've done that, you can really see the color difference though between the limbs and the torso. At least I can here. It does look like it's picking up in the video. But yeah, the torso and the limbs are different colors. As well as the head, mind you. So we spoke briefly of the quiver. We said before the arrows are, or we have one arrow that slides into the one slot, and then the rest are just sculpted as part of it, and she's got a nice little additional pouch, which is probably a good thing. Okay, so I also want to point another thing out here. This is the way it's showing it in the package. But she's holding the bow in her left hand and cocking the arrow with her right hand. That means that this needs to be on that side because she's right-handed. Because, you know, obviously you want to grab your arrows with your free hand. On the plus side, it does seem like mostly this thing has been sculpted in such a manner that will allow for you to do either side, because the quiver itself does not appear to actually be angled at all. I don't think. It does not really appear that way, you know? So we should be able to get away with this. The big problem is, even though they sculpted us an arrow separate from the bow, they did not give us a hand specifically for holding the arrow. Or the bowstring again. So in all truth, this is absolutely useless. So I do want to once more go out there and say they should have given us a second bow sculpted either with a spot so we could put the string in there, or have it sculpted in a manner that showed it already stretched out with an arrow in it so that we can do those kind of poses. Otherwise, she's got nothing. The belt also really doesn't stay in place very well at all, in my opinion. It's kind of a shame. On either side, really. Oh, well, okay, maybe it does fit better this way. So I guess it is actually specifically sculpted to fit around her in a certain way. But once again, if she's using that hand to hold the bow and the quiver is on that side, that makes no sense whatsoever. But we haven't done articulation yet, so let's talk about it. She's got a ball joint in her head. We get a little bit of wiggle at the top there. Woo! And she can look down easily enough. She could look up more if her hair wasn't in the way. Turn to the right, turn to the left, spin it all around like the Exorcist. Arms hinge up and down. Spin her all around. We have the single joint in the elbow, and that was really stiff. Again, it does seem like I think this might be the first figure that they've done in the female line that does not have a bracer of any sort. We have a spin at the wrist and the in and out articulation, and it's in and out articulation on both hands. I'm only saying that because our She-Ra had the had up and down on the one hand. We can spin 360 at the waist, and of course the belt gets in the way because of the quiver. She can kick forward that far. She can kick back about that far. And she can kick out like that. Single joint at the knee. We can bend at less, well, yeah, it is less than 90 because it doesn't go all the way forward. And of course, there is the bit of the curve for the pin in there, so we can spin that if we need to. And we have the boot cut. And we have the hinge at the foot again, and another spin. I gotta say, in my opinion, this is actually probably one of the better head sculpts in the line so far, at least for the face. It's too bad that at least on this figure, they just like slobbered glue all over her hair before placing it on her head. That's my kind of luck, isn't it? I did get an extra of her. If we never get a Battleground Tila, this might be the one I use to make my Savage She-Ra figure that I want to make. But overall, I think this was a worthwhile figure to get, and she looks good. The only real issues I have is the quiver being on the wrong side. If she's going to be holding the bow here, she needs it on that side. Otherwise, she has to have it on this side. So this is just a difference as to whether or not she's right-handed or left-handed. So if you're going to pose her, you're going to end up having to pose her like this for it to make sense. But again, if you're right-handed, which is what the images in the picture would say with her, you hold your bow in your left hand and you pull the string back with your right. At least that's how I've always done it. I think they could have done a better job with the sculpting of the belt as well. It is actually too bad that they didn't do it in a manner that allows it to go both sides like I originally thought they did. But yeah, you can kind of see the way it's making room for her ass on the back there. So yeah, it has to stay on this side. I think she'll be a great display piece for the Powers of Grayskull line here. The only other issue is, of course, the mini comic story, which makes no sense, showing her at least 16, looking more like she's in her 20s, rescuing Hero, and then later on saying that him and her are not that different in age. Quite the age gap to claim to be roughly the same age. But why don't you guys let me know in the comments below how you feel about this figure. Do you like the way she looks? Do you like the design of the figure? She was originally taken from an image from the Metator box. At least I think that was the name of the character. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And now she's here as our own little figure finally after all these years. She was one of the characters that usually pulled relatively high in the fan favorite polls for trying to get new figures in classics, but she never quite rose to the top. If you enjoyed this review, please free to smash that like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.